Part 93. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 933. Boom. The earth-shattering explosions were like rain hitting the banana trees, one continuous one. Roads of cyan light and shadow turned into thousands of lights, flying all over the sky. Sun Shi looked wild, holding the green god Ruyi stick, like an antelope hanging its horns, which was as wonderful as a millimeter. It is also like a divine dragon flying into the sky, domineering and fierce. Taoist Tai Lin, monk Wu Fei, fairy Yehua and layman Lai Yufeng all around, each holding magic weapons, were fighting like a revolving lantern around Sun Shi. Wind, thunder, flames, sword energy, and golden palms are like the endless tumbling of the Yangtze River. The floating dust, rulers, and red flowers are like meteors and lightning, continuous and continuous. What a good kill! The fighting was so fierce that everyone around them was dazzled and unable to extricate themselves. The overbearing divine power made the onlookers all around stunned and dumbfounded. Taoist Tai Lin and others frowned. They never expected that the monkey demon was so powerful. Even if the four of them joined forces, they would not be able to defeat him. You must know that his cultivation level has reached Tai Golden Immortal perfection, while monk Wuxi is in the late stage of Tai Golden Immortal, and Lai Yufeng and Yehua are both in the middle stage of Tai Golden Immortal. The four of them joined forces and thought they would be able to catch him, but they didn't expect it to end like this. This monkey's strength seems to have no end, and it gets stronger as it fights. At first I could hold him down, but now it's actually becoming a bit difficult. Old Taoist, monk, poor man, this monkey is too strong. If we continue to fight, we won't be able to gain any advantage. If one of them makes trouble, he will be injured here, Yehua said in a voice message. What do you think? Taoist Tai Lin asked. The task assigned to us by the imperial court is to kill the demon concubine and the 13th prince, so there is no need for us to follow the monkeys here to fight. Why don't you pester him, and I will kill the demon concubine and the 13th prince, and then we will immediately back away. Yehua pays attention. This monkey demon is strong, but the demon concubine and the 13th prince are not lambs to be slaughtered in front of us. As for Chiu Yuran, he is just a Tai celestial immortal. What can he do? Lai Yufeng layman said. But, this is a very good plan. Let's do it this way. The monk and I are still poor and can hold off this monkey. Taoist Tai Lin is also a decisive person. He can't do anything and changes his attention in an instant. After the four people made their decision, they took action at the same time. In an instant, violent thunder, mighty golden palms, powerful rulers, and sharp sword energy were like a flash flood. With endless divine power, he ran straight towards Sun Shi. Then Fairy Yehua instantly withdrew from the battle circle, activated her sword escape, and rushed towards Xiangfei and the 13th prince like lightning. Seeing this, there was no anxious look on Sun Shi's face. His master's cultivation and strength were far superior to his own, so the woman went over and really kicked him on the iron plate. Subconsciously looking with his spiritual consciousness, he saw the shadow of the master thousands of feet away. Only Chiu Yuran, Xiang concubine, and her son, 4 guards and 2 maids, who looked desperate after seeing Fairy Yehua fly away, were left. Sun Shi's heart skipped a beat. Master is not here. In anxiety, he could no longer hide it. Roared. Move the stars and change the fight. This is the innate magical power of the Lingming stone monkey. An extremely violent energy and blood rose into the sky. Masculine and hot, within a radius of several thousand feet in the blink of an eye, it was like falling into a furnace. Qian, Kun, Yi, throw. The Qingshen Ruyi stick instantly became tens of thousands of feet in size, like a huge green mountain, crushing it down. Feeling the earth-shattering domineering power contained in it, Taoist Tai Lin, monk Wu Fei, and layman Lai Yufeng's expressions changed drastically. He summoned up all the mana in his dantian and frantically used the strongest magic weapon in his body to fight it out. For a moment, there was thunder and flames in the air, and the ruler turned into a giant pillar holding the sky. But Sun Shi, who activated his natal magical power, increased his strength by 10 times. The Qingshen Ruyi stick contains crazy and boundless power. Boom! The thunder that stretched across tens of thousands of acres was extinguished, and the flames, as hot as a sea of fire, were torn to pieces by the violent power. When the ruler was touched, it broke into 2 pieces instantly as if it were made of paper. The Liufeng layman with the lowest cultivation level was directly run over by the violent force, his body was shattered, and he died on the spot. But the monk only escaped from the soul. Tailandeo vomited blood and escaped with injuries. As for Fairy Yehua, feeling the huge power behind her, she turned around and was frightened by the scene in front of her. She hurriedly slashed out her sword and ran away without having time to look further. Sun Shi activated the Hunyuan Divine Gate, took a step, and instantly came behind Fairy Yehua, sweeping across with his giant stick. "Spare my life!" Boom! Before he could finish his words, he was already beaten to pieces with a stick. After such a delay, Taoist Tylin had already fled far away. The battle ended, Sun Shi withdrew his magical power, and just came back to check everyone's injuries. Xiangfei had already rushed up like a madman, grabbing Sun Shi's arm tightly. Her beautiful face was full of ferocity. "Since your cultivation level is so high, why didn't you take action earlier? Why?" He looked at the 13th prince who was crying. Although he was slightly injured, he was not alive. "Your son is not dead. But you caused him to be seriously injured." Sun Shi was angry. "If I hadn't saved you, you would have died at the mountain temple." Xiangfei's expression froze, and her angry and ferocious face calmed down a little. "People cannot stand without trust. Since you promised to protect us, you must be responsible for us. Now that my son is seriously injured, it is your responsibility. And you are so strong, why don't you kill them earlier, so that my son can also it won't get hurt?" "You." Sun Shi's face was full of anger. He saved them with good intentions and fought hard against the 4 Tai Golden Immortals. In the end, instead of thanking them, they even scolded them. If the child died, he would understand that as a mother, Xiangfei would be overly sad and take her anger out on him. Now the child was only injured by the sword energy. Although it was dripping with blood and looked scary, it was just some skin injuries. He could heal after taking a few healing pills and resting for a few days. She clearly knew this, but she still refused to let go. He only helped because of the pity of their mother and son. He was not their slave. It was really embarrassing for her to dare to scold him like this. Just when I was about to leave these people behind, I suddenly felt that the surrounding space began to change. An invisible space barrier separated Xiangfei from her. Sensing the familiar aura again, Sun Shi turned his head and looked at the green-robed Taoist sitting cross-legged 3 feet away. "Master, do you feel wronged?" Looking at Xiangfei who still looked angry outside, she nodded. "If you do good deeds, you must pay attention to the methods and methods. Otherwise, instead of being grateful, you will only attract hatred. Especially like concubine Xiang. This girl has been in the Deep Palace for a long time. As a monster, she can train her own son to be the crown prince of a country. This shows that her skills are extraordinary, and her wisdom and government are far beyond ordinary people. No matter how much you help her, in her eyes, you are just a pawn. Don't expect her to be grateful to you. Moreover, if she or someone she cares about is injured, it is still your responsibility." Sun Shi's expression changed. "Master, my cultivation is far superior to theirs. Isn't she afraid that if she offends me, I will kill them all in anger?" "Haha, my silly disciple. In the past few days that you have been with them, they have already figured out your character. They know that you are kind-hearted, and no matter how angry you are, you will never take action against their orphans and widows. As for the Northern Han Dynasty, this is Yunding Mountain, the border of the Northern Han Dynasty. Leaving here is the Wen Kingdom. With or without you, they are all safe. And this time you killed 3 of the 4 elders of the Kishi mansion in the Northern Han Dynasty. This is already their top strength. It is absolutely impossible to send people to chase them in the future. Are you even worried that Xiang Fei will kill them back? But concubine Xiang knows very well that you will definitely not help her fight her way back to the capital. You are no longer relevant, and she no longer needs to pretend and suppress her temper. Seeing Sun Shi's dramatic change of expression, Su Junming said nothing more. Some things can only be understood by experiencing them. After a long time, Sun Shi took a deep breath. Master, are all human hearts so complicated? Some are not. It's all up to you to observe and think. Sun Shi nodded, looking a little silent. While Su Junming was teaching, Xiang Fei had already calmed down her anger and flew towards the distance with Qiu Yuran, 4 guards of gold, silver, copper, and iron and 2 maids. After passing Tianding Mountain and arriving in Wen State, we landed in Yuntu and found an inn to wash up and rest. Yuran, is Bao okay? Your Majesty, it's just a superficial wound. Take the healing pill and rest for a few days and it will be cured. That's good. Qiu Yuran hesitated for a moment. Mother, in fact, Sun Shi can still fight for it. Xiang Fei interrupted him with a wave of her hand. I understand what you mean, but they are not from the same group as us. Moreover, the cultivation level of Sun is too high and difficult to master. More importantly, I have always found it difficult to understand his master. Unstable factors like this must not stay around. Fortunately, 3 of the 4 elders of Kishi Mansion have already died. No one will be chasing us in a short time. Qiu Yuran nodded. Then where do we go next? Let's go to Stone Kingdom. Shiguo. The Shi Kingdom was located in the south of the Northern Han Dynasty, with an area of 800 billion miles and tens of billions of people. Although it was not as good as the Sui Dynasty in the south and the Northern Han Dynasty, it was still a big country among small countries. There is an army I secretly left behind in the Kingdom of Stone. We can use this as a basis to contact the old troops in the Northern Han Dynasty and slowly increase our strength. Once there is a change in the court, we can make a call and regain the throne. Qiu Qing's family, are you willing to help me complete our great cause? Qiu Yuran immediately knelt down on one knee and said respectfully. Yuran will be furious, follow the empress, kill the Han dynasty, bring order to the chaos, and restore the dynasty's strength. Xiang Fei smiled, her slender white fingers slowly passed over Qiu Yuran's shoulders, her red lips slowly came to her ear, and she breathed out like a blue. Qiu Qing's family is indeed worthy of being the most important ministers of this palace. When Bao ascends the throne in the future, I will treat him as prime minister. Qiu Yuran's eyes flickered. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks to the book friend The Silent Hydrogen Bomb for the 500 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes author, Dong Ren. Chapter 934. Further north from the Northern Han dynasty was Qi, which was also a dynasty with a territory of over 1 trillion, but its national power was obviously not as good as that of the Northern Han dynasty, and its jurisdiction was similar to the South Campus of Chongshan Academy. Because of its proximity to the East China Sea, industry and commerce are relatively developed, the territory is wealthy and prosperous, and the people are extremely peaceful. Master, Tianyang Mountain is ahead. Although he was hit because of Xiang Fei's incident, Sun Shi was an innate being after all, one of the 4 monkeys in the world. He recovered quickly and was obviously much calmer than before. Su Junming raised his head and saw thousands of streams of light passing through the blue sky above, all falling on Tianyang Mountain. It seems that the Tianyang Mountain sermon is still very popular. After all, it was a Daluo monk who was preaching, so naturally there were many listeners, Su Junming said. As soon as they entered Daki, they heard rumors in the cultivation circles here that Qi Lingzi of Uniadong in Tianyang Mountain was going to preach in Tianyang Mountain. Qi Lingzi was also a great Luo, but the difference was that he did not accept disciples or preach. He has been practicing meditation in Yunya Cave in Tianyang Mountain, and occasionally preaches. He has a good reputation in Daki and Nanzan Buzhu cultivation circles. After Su Junming and his disciples entered Nanzan Buzhu, news spread that he was preaching again. Brother Daluo's sermon was very helpful even to Su Junming. By coincidence, the master and the apprentice came all the way towards Tianyang Mountain. Tianyang Mountain is now in front of us, and there is only half a month left before the sermon period. They have enough time. The master and the disciple were not in a hurry, and slowly arrived at the foot of Tianyang Mountain at the established speed. Once here, there are even more monks. Out of respect for Qi Lingzi, all the monks would lower their escape light outside Tianyang Mountain and then walk into the mountain. Therefore, the mountain road leading to the depths of Tianyang Mountain is crowded with people and very lively. Master Su Junming and his disciples also followed the crowd and walked in. Because they were all monks, they quickly reached the depths of Tianyang Mountain as if they were walking on flat ground. Master, look. It's so obvious that you can see it without pointing. In a huge valley ahead, countless monks were setting up stalls, selling various cultivation items and exchanging them for elixirs, magic weapons, spiritual materials, etc. that they could use. I didn't expect there to be a market in Tianyang Mountain. Are you two non-Daki monks? A slightly hoarse voice came from behind. The two masters and apprentices turned around and saw an old man wearing linen clothes, with a wine gourd hanging around his waist, a childlike face and black hair, and deep eyes. It is rare to have the cultivation level of a Tai true immortal. Two fellow Taoists are invited. Pandeo calls himself Taoist Mai and is also here to listen to the sermons of immortal Master Qi Lingzi. Pandeo starts. My surname is Su, and my friends call me Su Daoran. This monkey is my disciple. Be polite, son. She cupped his hands. After the two parties greeted each other. Is this your first time coming to our gathering? How can I see it? Taoist Mai smiled and said, no one of our Daki monks knows Tianyang Shanfang City. This is the busiest place in Daki. Every year on the 2nd day of July, the birthday of immortal Qi Lingzi, there will be countless people. Friends came from Daki and even several surrounding countries to exchange what they needed, and they lasted for half a month before they dispersed. If immortal Qi Lingzi gives a sermon, the market will last for a month or even longer. I see. No wonder it's so lively here. You too, our Daki is adjacent to the East China Sea. Not only are there all kinds of treasures on land, but there is also no shortage of spiritual materials in the sea. If you two are interested, you can take a good tour here and you will definitely gain a lot. After all, this city deserves a good visit. If you two fellow Taoists don't mind, Pandeo is willing to be a guide. Su Junming's eyes flashed, and he smiled and said, the Taoist friend is kind, but the poor Taoist understands it well. My master and disciple are just wandering around and have nothing to buy, so there is no need for a guide. The disappointment in Taoist Mai's eyes flashed away. In that case, Pandeo won't bother you. After saying that, he took out a jade talisman from the magic bag and offered it with both hands. Fellow Taoist, please keep this thing. If you have any need in Tianyang Mountain or even Daki, you can use this talisman to call Pandeo. Su Junming reached out to take it and looked at it briefly. Thank you. I say goodbye. Goodbye, go away. Looking at Taoist Mai Yi walking away, son, she said in surprise, Master, this old Taoist is too enthusiastic. Everyone must ask for something out of courtesy. It seems that we are already being taken into consideration. Do you want me to follow you secretly to observe? No need. This person has a red face, and the merits on his head are formed by Ganoderma lucidum. He is obviously a righteous man. If such a person is in need, we will not hesitate to help him. Sun Shi nodded. Let's go and have a look at the market ahead. Along the way north, they also visited several cities and towns, and gained something in almost every one of them. The bronze mirror's powerful ability to break taboos makes it difficult for even a Hunyuan-level spiritual creature to escape its prying eyes. Because of the lack of management, the market here obviously lacks planning. In the huge valley, you can occupy a random place and put things on it, and it will become a stall. So it looks very messy. It just so happens that this mess gives others the pleasure of picking up treasures and missing things, and instead attracts more monks. Su Junming also liked this kind of occasion very much. He activated the bronze mirror in his danchan and looked at the booths one by one. Those with strong treasure energy are of course the most eye-catching. Of course, people who sell things are not fools. Of course, good things cost a lot even if the real thing cannot be seen. In order to prevent the treasure from being stolen, a high price will be charged. Unless there is an extremely secret restriction that turns a treasure into a mortal object and is beyond the owner's ability, it will be difficult to miss it. Fellow Taoist, how do you sell this jade slip? Sitting behind a stone table, the middle-aged Taoist priest, wearing a navy blue Taoist robe and carrying a magic sword on his back, with a sharp breath and a serious expression, raised his head and glanced at him. This is an ancient jade plate, not a jade slip. If you want it, 3 Ti middle grade power increasing elixirs. Of course Su Junming recognized that this volume of 18 jade slips connected in series was an ancient jade plate. To use jade slips as a match is just to find out this person's background. If he doesn't recognize it as a jade dish, it will naturally be easier to lower the price when buying and selling it. The price is high. I believe that you have re-recorded the contents of this jade disc, and you can sell it again and again in the future. In addition, the ancient divine inscriptions in this jade disc are only some common herbal knowledge. If it is not available, for studying ancient divine texts, this jade plate has almost no value. The middle-aged man carrying the sword flashed his eyes, and he also knew that his price was too high. 2 middle-grade Ti power-enhancing elixirs. This is the lowest price. Don't forget it. Looking at his eyes, Su Junming knew that if he tried to bargain again, he might not be able to get this thing. After all, the other party is a swordsman, not a businessman. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, a blue and white porcelain vase flew out. He took it over and looked at it briefly before handing it over. Fellow Taoist, please take a look. Jianqiu took it, pulled out the plug and smelled it, his eyes suddenly lit up. He is also a person who knows the goods. The mellow medicinal fragrance of this elixir is also top grade among Ti's middle grade power increasing elixirs. The jade plate is yours. Thank you. The 2 Ti Remenya pills were refined by him himself. With his current level of refining the Great Lugo spiritual pill, refining Ti level elixirs is certainly within easy reach. He took the jade plate and put it in the storage gourd. This is the first harvest today. Master, look, it's so lively in front. Su Junming also saw that there were many people surrounding the 3 floors in front and the 3 floors outside. From time to time there were rumblings of disappointment or exclamation. However, there are many disappointments and few exclamations. The 2 masters and disciples were curious, and with the help of the Hushan Taoist method of Hunyuan Zhenmen, they instantly reached the front of the crowd. Of course, those whose vision is blocked by them are not satisfied. But feeling the Ti golden immortal level mana of the 2, he didn't dare to provoke them. In the world of spiritual practice, De Luo monks are high in rank, few in number, and the divine dragon has never seen its end. Ti golden immortal is the top power most easily accessible to monks. Fellow Taoists, do you want to try your skills? If you hit the treasure on my tree, you can take it away. An old man wearing a ge robe sitting cross-legged on the futon said with a smile. After looking at the donkey lying next to him with a single horn on its head, Su Junming changed his eyes. 30 feet away, there is a big tree. This tree has a strange growth. It has a 9-foot-tall trunk, stems and branches, but not a single leaf. Lines of lavender lines grow on the tree as if inlaid, and they emit lavender light at the same time, making this weird tree look a bit weird. Among the tangled branches, crystal balls the size of basins floated. There are immortal treasures, elixirs, spiritual materials, and precious beasts in the crystal ball, most of which are Tai-level treasures. There is even a crystal ball the size of a water tank on the top of this purple monster tree. Floating in the middle was a piece of fairy grass shaped like a unicorn, green in color but rich in medicinal essence. Master, this is Kailan immortal grass. Su Junming nodded. It is said that Kiran immortal grass is an immortal root spirit grass that takes tens of millions of years to grow after being contaminated with Kiran essence and blood. The low-level treasure medicine. It grows an inch every 1,000 years. Looking at the 4-foot-tall Kailan immortal grass, it must have grown and nurtured for at least 40,000 years, and it is completely a middle-grade elixir from Daluo. If they were used to refine elixirs, they would be able to produce a high-grade elixir. The two Taoists have friendly eyes. The most precious thing on my treasure tree is this Kailan immortal grass. If you two are interested, you can hold this bow and arrow, stand in the circle in front, offer a Tai high-grade elixir, and shoot an arrow at the tree. As long as the glass ball is shot, the contents will return to the tree. Earned by fellow Taoists. A magic pill shoots an arrow. Do you two fellow Taoists want to give it a try? Su Junming looked at the 3-foot-tall low-grade Tai immortal treasure bow and arrow placed next to him on the stone table, and then looked at the sparkling halo painted on the boulder next to him. If I shoot the top glass bead, will the Kiran immortal grass inside be mine? It's natural. The old man nodded. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 935. After Su Junming nodded, he slapped the gourd on his waist and a porcelain bottle flew out. I have a high-grade Tai elixir in the bottle here. Take a look. The old man took a look, and nodded with satisfaction. Ask in advance that you are not allowed to use magical powers. Apart from this bow and arrow, you cannot use other magic weapons. You can only use magic power. Otherwise, even if you hit something, it will be invalid. You old man is so cunning. Why didn't you say anything just now? Now you have collected our elixirs before you speak, son, she said. You didn't ask just now. Oh, by the way. Regardless of whether you ejaculate or not, this pill will not be returned. Seeing him smiling and looking like his plot was succeeding, son, she really wanted to give him a stick. Su Junming smiled faintly, glanced at him, and picked up the bow and arrow on the stone table next to him. Although the low-grade spiritual treasure of Tai is no longer in his eyes, it is a treasure that can only be used in the Tai realm after all, and its power is naturally extraordinary. Not to mention shooting at a strange tree 30 feet away, even if you shoot something 30,000 feet away, you will be there in an instant. However, this old man is so confident that he allows others to shoot treasures, so he naturally has some defenses. The key is not the bow and arrow in his hand, but the strange tree 30 feet away. The name of this tree is Shaking Purple, which is an acquired spiritual root. Rumor has it that it was the brainchild of Dijong, one of the 12 ancestral witches, so it contains magical effects on space. On the surface, it appears to be only 30 feet away, but in fact it is nearly 1,000,000 feet away. Moreover, the space around the Shaking Purple spirit tree has been completely distorted. Unless the old man lets you shoot, you will not be able to hit it no matter how many times you shoot. Of course Su Junming is an exception. He is proficient in the way of Hushin. He picked up the arrow, activated the space spiritual power, and left a small talisman on it. Aim for the Kirin immortal grass at the top. Seeing him like this, a trace of ridicule flashed in the eyes of the old man next to him. 9 out of 10 people who come to him to shoot arrows are going for the Kylan treasure medicine. How could I let them get away with the treasure at the bottom of the box? Instead, in order to gain popularity, those monks who shot at Tai's treasure would be spared by him. Buzz. The bow is like a thunderbolt, shaking hundreds of feet of space. Fortunately, there were monks around. If he were a mortal, he would be shocked to death just by the sound of a bowstring. Tisk, the air was cut instantly. In a flash of lightning, he came to the shaking purple tree and penetrated into the hazy purple light. At this moment, everything seemed to slow down. But what can be seen is that the long arrow is still flying firmly towards the topmost Kirin treasure. Expectation gradually appeared in the eyes of the people watching around. The old man in GE robe next to him saw it, and the finger movements contained in his sleeves changed, and the space inside the purple treasure tree quickly became distorted. Su Junming saw this and felt something in his heart. The talisman attached to the arrow exploded instantly, and a powerful force of space directly dispersed the surrounding twisted space force, and then instantly folded the space. Next moment. Snapped. The light ball containing the Kirin treasure was instantly shattered. The onlookers saw this and instantly exclaimed. The smile froze on his face, and the next moment, his expression turned ugly. He slowly stood up and looked directly at Su Junming. You cheated and this round is void. Su Junming reached out and grabbed it, the space shattered, and a black space channel appeared. When he took his hand out, he already had the Kirin treasure in his hand. I am willing to admit defeat. If I lose, I will accuse others of cheating. Then the person who lost the elixir before can also accuse you of cheating and get the elixir back. This fellow Taoist is right. If you win, it's cheating, if you lose, it's normal. There's no such thing as this in the world. That's right, this old guy must have cheated just now. Please replace our elixirs quickly. Tai's high-grade elixirs are not ordinary things. Who wouldn't feel bad if they lose? This will cause a lot of noise. The old man looked ugly. The aura around him was no longer concealed, and the next moment, Tai's perfect and tyrannical magic power soared into the sky. The powerful power caused everyone to change their expressions and retreat one after another. Both eyes stared at master and disciple Su Junming. Just exchange the treasure back, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Sun Shi was eager to try. Hey, master. Let me, old son, destroy this unruly old ghost. Then all the treasures in this tree will belong to our family. Just when the two sides were at war with each other, a Taoist wearing sackcloth rushed out. Ancestor Beiwa, don't forget Immortal Qi Ling's instructions, no fighting is allowed in Tianyang Mountain, otherwise you will be severely punished. The old man in GE robe stopped and his expression became even more ugly. He may not care about the two Tai golden immortals, but he does not dare to offend the majesty of the Deluo monks. He glared hard at Master Su Junming and Taoist Mai. I'll let you go for now. When we get out of Tianyang Mountain, my ancestor will come to settle the score with you. After that, he stretched out his hand, put away the shaking purple spirit root, turned around and left. Watching him go away, Taoist Mai breathed a sigh of relief. Turning his head to look at master and disciple Su Junming. Ancestor Beiwa is a veteran and powerful person in Daki's cultivation world. He has reached the perfection of Tai Golden Immortal as early as 20,000 years ago. His strength is profound and he has the potential to be the #1 person under Deluo. He should not be provoked. Fellow Taoist, It's not worth it for you to provoke such a strong man for us two strangers, Su Junming said with a smile. I highly recommend these two fellow Taoists to come here. If something happens, how can a poor Taoist stay out of it? He looked at him deeply. In that case, fellow Taoist, please come with us. It's my wish, but I dare not invite you. A Taoist priest in sackcloth came in. The master and apprentice exchanged glances and briefly walked around the market. Fellow Taoist, is there a special place for monks to rest in Tianyang Mountain? The earth is the bed and the sky is the quilt. The vast world has a lot to offer. However, Pandeo knows a place with excellent scenery and secrets that can be used as a cave. Then please ask fellow Taoist to lead the way. Two fellow Taoists, please. After flying over several mountains with the two of them, they came to a small valley. This valley is narrow at the top and wide at the bottom. A waterfall flows out from the cliff halfway up the mountainside, flies down thousands of feet, and lands in a deep spring, making a deafening roar. Surrounding the spring, there is first a grassland, and then a lush peach forest. Pink or red peach blossoms fill the canyon. The quiet peach blossom aroma is intoxicating. The four cliffs are covered with exotic flowers and plants, which are colorful and spectacular. It's really a nice and quiet place. Haha, I also accidentally discovered this place when I came here to participate in the market many years ago. He led the master and apprentice to the back of the waterfall, and with a flick of his finger, the originally flat cliff suddenly began to waver. Gradually, a stone cave appeared in front of us. Please. After entering, the luminous pearls embedded above illuminated the corridor. After walking forward 20 meters, you rounded a stone wall and your eyes suddenly opened up. A large stone room with stone tables and benches appeared in front of them. There are adjacent portals on the left and right sides of the stone chamber, which is quite large. Two fellow Taoists, these stone chambers were opened by me before. The space is not small. You two fellow Taoists can choose one to live in at will. Thank you, fellow Taoist, for my master and apprentice express their gratitude. Fellow Taoist, you're welcome. You can stay here as long as you like. After smiling and nodding, my master and apprentice have been tired all the way, so they went to rest first. Fellow Taoists, just do as you please. After saying goodbye, he took Sun Shi to a stone room and walked in. Close the stone door, set up forbidden laws, and isolate the inside and outside with the Hunyuan Genman. Master, this person approached us twice, and he must have a plan. Su Junming nodded slightly. Ignore it for now and wait for him to speak. Yes. You rest here, I'll go back to Chongshan residence. After pinching the seal, Su Junming's figure disappeared instantly. Arriving at the immortal island of creation, the Dragon Emperor, True Lord Tai, and Chen Xianzang were still immersed in cultivation, vowing not to escape until they broke through to the great immortal De Luo. Proud of the last experience in Kongsang Mountain, the major spiritual roots of Creation Fairy Island have grown several times, and the released Taisha creation spiritual chi has also become several times stronger, enough for their cultivation needs. Su Junming found a corner and planted the newly obtained Kirin treasure medicine. Because it had been harvested for a long time, the Kylan treasure medicine, which was slightly sluggish, quickly regained its vitality under the nourishment of Taisha's creation aura. Light green auras bloomed, and the branches and leaves swayed, as if a small unicorn was jumping in reverse. In the future, when making elixirs, you only need to take one leaf at a time, and there is no need to damage its roots. Looking at the true dragon treasure medicine next to it that looked like a real dragon spitting pearls, Su Junming felt a sense of anticipation in his heart. From ancient times to the present, the 5 elements of treasure medicine are produced from the spirit blood of Bingshen beasts, which are the 5 elements of true dragon, vermilion bird, Suanwua, white tiger, and unicorn, corresponding to the 5 elements of Jiamua, Binghuo, Koishui, Zhengjin, and Wutu. Each one is a Deluo-level immortal root spirit seed, which has the effect of living dead human flesh and white bones. If you gather together the 5 precious medicines, you can make the 5 elements pill. After taking it, not only will your magic power be greatly increased, but you will also be able to gain a 5-element magical power. There are only 5 precious medicines that can be found and found. Su Junming obtained a true dragon treasure that had grown for tens of billions of years and was 9 million feet high in the collection of Kinkan Taoist in Wuji Mountain's Kinkan Cave. I got the Kirin treasure medicine in Tianyang Mountain. It's just that the latter year is much shorter than the former. Let's cultivate it first. I don't expect to be able to get the 5 great medicines. After all, the earthly immortal realm is not a prehistoric one. Even if it were a prehistoric one, its spiritual intelligence would be far inferior to that of the ancient times. If you want to find this top-notch elixir, it is really difficult to reach the sky. After planting the unicorn treasure medicine, I visited the fairy island for a while, then returned to the pavilion beside the creation spirit pond and sat down. Take out the ancient jade plate that you bought earlier. After urging the bronze mirror to comprehend slowly, he quickly performed the formula with both hands. Flashes of spiritual light flashed through, and countless seals flew into the jade disc. The hands stopped. Drink in your mouth. Open. A strong milky white brilliance spread out from the jade dish. The next moment, the ancient divine inscriptions on the jade plate quickly changed. When everything stopped, the content was no longer the ordinary medical book it seemed before. Divine consciousness immersed, and 4 huge divine words came into view. Su Junming recognized it instantly with his profound foundation. The meaning of these 4 words is 7 arrows on the nail head. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 936. Su Junming is naturally familiar with the reputation of the 7 arrows on the nail head. During the Battle of the Gods in the Middle Ages, Zhao Gongming, who beat Taoist Ran Deng to the point of fleeing, was cursed to death by Taoist Lu Ya from West Kunlun. The 7 arrows with nail heads is not Taoist Lu Ya's unique skill, but one of the 36 heavenly powers, which is in line with the avenue of cause and effect. Taoist Lu Ya can curse Zhao Gongming to death, so he naturally has a deep understanding of the law of cause and effect. Su Junming watched the following content, and it was indeed mysterious and profound. The starting point is the Tai realm. Not only does it contain content about the Great Luo realm, but there is also the Hunyuan realm at the end. However, there are not many records of the Hunyuan realm. Even so, it does not detract from its preciousness. In the earthly immortal world, there are many secret scriptures that can be used to cultivate to the Deluo level, but those that can cultivate to the Hunyuan level are all magical scriptures and secrets that have not been passed down. As expected, it is indeed the great magical power of the 36 heavenly gangs. It is infinitely mysterious and can be regarded as a great avenue. The great power of Tiangang is different from the 72 earth evil powers. The former is Tao and the latter is art. The former can lead to enlightenment, while the latter can only be used for fighting. This is the essential difference. From now on, Chen Xianzang will have no shortage of skills. The path of cause and effect corresponding to the 7 nail-headed arrows is exactly Chen Xuanzang's main path. After briefly studying the records inside, Su Junming activated the seal and his figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he had already arrived in a mountain. The mountain is 100 feet high, and the tall pine trees exude rich vitality under the bright sun. Walking up the winding mountain road, you soon saw a 9-foot-tall stone tablet with the divine pattern of justice written on it. Wuji Mountain. After bypassing the stone monument and going up the mountain road, near the top of the mountain, a platform about the size of an acre appeared. In the middle of the platform, there was a simple copper furnace, emitting curls of green smoke. Behind the copper furnace is a cave 3 feet in diameter, with 2 stone doors tightly closed at the entrance. There are 3 characters engraved on the plaque above the lintel. Kinkan Cave. There was a boom. The stone door opened, and a little fat man wearing a green robe and tied with horns walked out. Seeing Su Junming, he quickly stepped forward to greet him. "See the headmaster." Su Junming smiled and nodded. When he left the world where Uncle Ju lived and went to the world of Liuzai to look for opportunities for breakthrough, he never thought that one day he would be able to go back again. He never thought that he would see the thunder frog, Xianqing spirit snake, and the 9-tailed dark cat that he released there in the black underworld valley again. But there are always exceptions. Not only did he go back, the world where Uncle Ju lived also became part of the Chongshan world. Even the strange beasts in the black underworld valley all belong to his Chongshan sect. The 9-tailed ghost cat became a registered disciple of Chiao Shaoxin. 2 empty green spirit snakes, one large and one small, stayed with Lin Zhengying's 3rd disciple, Zhou Qing. Thunder Frog was valued by Renwuji and became his mount. That is the little fat man who is now a Tai celestial immortal. He patted the bag of magic on his waist, and a token with flashing lightning flew over. "I have trained this thunder god token into a top-grade immortal treasure for you. Go back and practice it carefully." "Thank you, Master." The fat boy who was named Thunder Chan by Renwuji happily took the treasure. Su Junming walked into the Kinkan cave, and with a flash of light in front of his eyes, he came to a magnificent sea of clouds. The thick clouds were extremely thick, like a huge fog-white land, millions of miles across. In the center of the sea of clouds is a land mass thousands of miles in size. It has undulating mountains and rivers and lakes. The green spiritual roots dye the earth green. Various colorful and exotic flowers make the place more gorgeous. Looking across the past, in the center of the continent, a pine tree stands out the most. Thousands of feet high, with stems and branches, deeply rooted in a huge bluestone. The fluffy canopy spreads out to tens of thousands of acres. Under the canopy of the tree, a ball of black and white aura with a diameter of 12 feet was slowly rotating. The alternation of black and white, the separation of yin and yang, illustrates the mystery of yin and yang. Surrounding this black and white air mass, there are 4 spiritual objects like satellites, slowly rotating around it. Among them, the most powerful one is a piece of cloth with a flashing light, 3 feet and 9 inches in size, with a yin and yang pattern on one side and a bagua pattern on the other. The bagua pattern often evolves into images of heaven and earth, wind and thunder, water, volcanoes and swamps. The yin and yang pattern turns into the divine patterns of the 2 characters Qian and Kun. The third is a millstone with a diameter of 3 feet and 2 inches, white on the top and black on the bottom. The white is to the left and the black is to the right. The 2 are rotating slowly. The rich spiritual energy disappeared from the black holes of the white millstone, and then flowed out from the white holes of the black millstone. As he entered and exited, the smell of the millstone was a little stronger than before. Behind the millstone is a black and white futon, 2 feet and 3 inches in diameter, exuding a strong yin and yang Tao charm. Finally there is a mirror. This mirror is the only thing that has nothing to do with yin and yang. The mystery of the way of space is revealed in the clear mirror light of auspicious water. These 4 treasures are the top-grade innate spiritual treasures, the picture of the universe. Deluo Lingbao Yin Yang Great Mill. Deluo Lingbao Kinkan Futon. The ultimate Tai immortal treasure Zhouguang Mirror. When he came closer, he felt the still silent soul in the air mass and shook his head slightly. Originally, I just came to see how Renwuji, who had received the legacy of Taoist Kinkan, was digesting. There is silence now, obviously it is still very early before he is born. I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He has always coveted Kongsang Mountain. The mountains and rivers that span 15 trillion miles, plus the 3 trillion miles of Taiyang ghost realm remnants in the Hunyuan divine sect, are enough to support the world of Chongshan to advance to the Great Thousand, as long as they are digested properly. Unfortunately, if you want to digest the yin energy of the Taiyan ghost realm, you must transform the yin and yang through the Kinkan diagram. To capture Kongsang Mountain, Ren Wuji must join forces with the Dragon Emperor, Tai Zhenjun, and Chen Xianzang. The four great Luo attack at the same time. With the support of the Hunyuan formation, it is possible to kill the demon and take full control of the Kongsang Mountain cave. Moreover, he suspected that he had not fully explored Kongsang Mountain. I still haven't figured out where the spiritual energy in Kongsang Mountain comes from. Laurel can transform Taiyan spiritual energy, but it cannot transform Jushin Qingling energy. He also didn't know why the demon couldn't do anything to the moon rabbit guarded by Yugui, since it could infect Dong Huang Tai's body. You know, the restrictions in the East Palace are much stronger than those in the Yeyu Palace. I wanted to go back and investigate again, but gave up after thinking about it. Although the mark he left was cleverly hidden, if it were exposed and the devil searched it thoroughly and lost the location of Kongsang Mountain, it would be a small gain but a big loss. Without absolute certainty, he was not prepared to go again. Everything requires this guy to be born. Looking at the silent Ren Wuji Yuan Shen, he shook his head, turned around and walked out. Seeing him come out, Sun Shi, who was sitting cross-legged in meditation, opened his eyes. "Master." After nodding, he stretched out his hand to greet Hunyuan Zhenmin, opened the restriction, backed away from the stone door, and the two of them walked out. No Taoist Mai was seen in the middle. However, I did see a talisman letter on the stone table nearby. Sun Shi went over to take a look, and his eyes suddenly became sharp. "Next, pass it to Su Junming." "Master, look. There is a line of clear writing on it. If you want to save people, come to the Black Pine Forest outside Huazhong County. The suffix is ancestor of 100 flowers. Master, let me kill this old thief and rescue fellow Taoist Mai Yi. Do you know where Huazhong County is?" Sun Shi scratched his head, he really didn't know. "Can't you just ask?" "No, I know." Seeing its stunned look, Sun Shi lectured, "You know how to eat and drink along the way. When did you ever pay attention to the geography of mountains and rivers?" Adhering to the simple ideal of letting Chongshan Academy dominate Nanzan Buzhu in the future, he has been recording the geography and humanities of the places he visited along the way, continuously improving and repairing the map of Nanzan Buzhu given to him by the Dragon Emperor. Huazhong County is 500,000 miles northeast of Tianyang Mountain. With the magic power of Tai Golden Immortal, it can be reached in half an hour. Although Black Pine Forest doesn't know, it is not difficult to find the divine consciousness of Ether Yi Jingxian. The two escaping lights were like two meteors falling from the sky, revealing the figures of master and disciple Su Junming. Looking at the dense pine forest in the distance ahead. "Master, is this it?" Su Junming nodded slowly. With a flick of his finger, a finger of wind was as strong as thunder, and after nearly 10,000 feet across the sky, there was a boom, and water ripples suddenly rippled in the middle of the empty air. A strange number with branches and leaves, glowing with purple light, appeared in mid-air. It was the shaking purple treasure tree. Under this treasure tree, the ancestor of Beiwa sat cross-legged. On the tree trunk behind him, Taoist priest Mai Yi was tied tightly with a golden chain. Seeing master and disciple Su Junming, Taoist Mai looked excited. "You two fellow Taoists, please don't put yourself in danger for me and leave quickly." Before he finished speaking, a flash of spiritual light flashed, and Taoist Mai's mouth was sealed. Quack. After saying this coldly, Beiwa ancestor stared at Su Junming. "Hand over the Kirin sacred grass, or I will kill this guy. Smile lightly. I am not related to this person. If you want to kill him, you can do it. He didn't hesitate to offend me for you, and even offered to take you in. You actually don't miss the old relationship at all. Pandeo is not an unjust person. If you kill Taoist friend Mai, then Pandeo will kill you, which can be regarded as revenge for him. Haha, you guys also want to kill me. The old man had a sarcastic smile on his face. You'll know if you can do it. Master, let me go. Sun Shi was eager to try. No, this person is here with the purple treasure tree, and Hu Tiandao must be extraordinary. Although your martial arts is strong, you may not be his opponent. Although Sun Shi's great innate magical power, shifting stars and changing fights, is a powerful magical power for fighting, shaking the purple treasure tree is also an acquired spiritual root. And it is also a rare space spiritual root. The Hushan Dao Lingbao, which is equivalent to Deluo level, has powerful power. Once a fight breaks out, it will be a draw at most. You are here to sweep the formation for me. Although somewhat reluctant, Sun Shi agreed. He also knew how powerful the purple tree was, but he believed in his own magical power. Come on, I'll kill you. I'll have to go back to Tiantai Mountain to listen to the sermon, Su Junming said calmly. In a single round of fighting, no one with the same level of cultivation can be his opponent. Okay, ancestor, let's see what you can do, and how dare you be so arrogant. Ancestor Beiwa, who was used to being aloof, was also angered by Su Junming's unruly attitude. Thanks to book friend 16032822122417 for the reward of 1500 starting points. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 937. The fierce momentum was like a roaring wave, roaring and crushing him. Su Junming saw this and no longer suppressed his magic power. In an instant, the violent airflow was like a furious dragon, surging and rushing forward. The momentum of both sides collided instantly. The momentum competition of invisible things actually seemed like two giant beasts fighting each other. The bang-bang sound of impact was like a muffled drum, deafening. Ancestor Beiwa's expression gradually became serious. The surging dark energy made him feel a little overwhelmed. How can this be? Ancestor Beiwa, who was not prepared to delay any longer, clapped his hands together, and delicate flowers as big as silver basins bloomed around him. Every flower is different. Every flower has a different color. Every flower is a rare spiritual root. 100 flowers kill the formation, and the soaring sword energy penetrates the sky. In an instant, endless sword energy rushed out from every flower. The mighty sword energy turned into a sword river thousands of feet wide. Writhing, with infinite power, it slashed towards Su Junming like lightning. A sword? I can do it too. Pan Tuo Divine Sword. Rumble, all the energy and blood in the body merged with the mana, turning into layers of sword energy. The torrent of blood-red sword energy lacked dexterity and gained overbearing murderous intent. The sword energy, which was like a sea of blood and galaxies, came forward with determination without regrets and an evil energy that was as strong as 10 swings. Two sword rivers, one yellow and one red, collided together like lightning. With a boom, a muffled thunder seemed to explode in the sky and the earth. The deafening roar resounded throughout the world. A magnificent shockwave flew in all directions. The endless sword light collapsed. This person has such strong energy and blood. The shocked Beiwa ancestor changed his tactics. 100 flowers kill the formation, and gusts of wind trap thousands of immortals. There are nearly 100 flowers, and the petals are shaking. At the same time, a strong wind roared, turning into a huge tornado with a diameter of nearly 10,000 feet. Under the astonishing wind speed, wind blades crisscrossed one after another. The huge tornado was like a meat grinder. Whether it was spiritual energy or something else, it was torn to pieces in an instant. Go. Ancestor Beiwa's fingers changed. The huge tornado storm shrouded Su Junming directly. Seeing this, Su Junming's expression remained unchanged. Pan Tuo Divine Palm. The next moment, the sky turned dark. An astonishing giant palm fell from the sky. Looking at the huge palm that was as big as an ancient mountain, the Beiwa ancestor's expression changed greatly, and he hurriedly shook the purple treasure tree and escaped from the divine palm. Boom! The tornado was killed instantly. Looking at the huge palm print in mid-air, Beiwa ancestor's expression became more solemn. The magic array of hundreds of flowers, the infinite fragrance is enchanting and divine. In an instant, the endless fragrance of flowers filled the air, covering tens of thousands of miles in radius. Looking at the green-robed Taoist who was suddenly enveloped by the aroma, his face struggled for a moment and then became intoxicated, and the disciple next to him. Ancestor Beiwa breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that this person's soul cultivation is not as good as his magic power. Just as he was about to step forward to check, he stopped again. It's better to be cautious. With a thought in his heart, the surrounding flowers turned into layers of sword energy, flying towards the master and disciple like lightning. Shua, the sword energy passed through their bodies, but no blood flowed out. How can it be? Using his magic power fiercely, the mighty sword energy turned into the Yangtze River, drowning the two of them in an instant. It lasted for more than 10 seconds before Beiwa ancestor stopped. The two of them still stayed there, their expressions unchanged, extremely strange. After noticing the abnormality, ancestor Beiwa became more cautious. Master, this old guy seems to have discovered it. Sun Shi's voice sounded. This person is more cautious than I imagined. Su Junming nodded. Seeing the master and apprentice talking to each other, they looked a little bit confused by his 100 flowers illusion array. Mean. Ancestor Beiwa cursed angrily. If he had just rushed to collect the fruits of victory in excitement and was suddenly attacked, the consequences would be death or injury. A soldier never tires of deceit. Didn't you also intercept the hostages and lead our master and disciples here? If Qi Lingzi hadn't allowed fighting in Tianyang Mountain, why would I have used any hostages? I would have gone up and destroyed you long ago. Old boy, you are still boasting nonsense. With your three-legged cat skills, you are my master's opponent, Sun Shi said with a smile. Ancestor Beiwa looked angry, took a deep breath and stared at Su Junming. My ancestor never thought that someone could practice martial arts and chi refining at the same time to reach the Tai Golden Immortal Realm. If not, you would never be my opponent in the 100 Flowers formation. However, if you think that you can block the ancestor's 100 Flowers formation, you will be able to win, but you are wishful thinking. With a roar, the purple tree shook behind him, and the light shone brightly. The majestic purple light, like a ball of purple divine light, shot around like lightning. Anyone shrouded in purple light is included in the space of the shaking purple treasure tree, and life and death are controlled by the owner of the treasure tree. But an extremely majestic stone gate blocked the purple light. No matter how much Ancestor Beiwa urged it, the purple light could not make any progress in front of the divine sect. How can it be? This time, Ancestor Beiwa was really panicked. Shaking the purple treasure tree is his treasure at the bottom of the box, and it has no disadvantages. Even relying on it, Patriarch Beiwa escaped from Deluo several times. I have never encountered a situation like today where the divine light of the precious tree was blocked. Su Junming is high above the Hunyuan divine sect. This purple treasure tree is the spiritual root of space, and your major is Yumu's way. The medicine is not right, and your cultivation is not enough. If it falls into your hands, it will be able to exert 30% of its power. It will be good. Ancestor Beiwa's expression changed. Even 30% of the power is enough to kill you. The fingertips changed. The purple light seemed to have condensed into substance, crazily squeezing toward the Hunyuan divine gate. The huge space naturally has a powerful impact. Su Junming clearly sensed that a surging force like a mountain or a sea was impacting the stone door under his feet. However, his Hunyuan divine sect is not an extraordinary thing. It has just refined the fourth restraint and is already a middle-grade Deluo Lingbao. Although it is not as good as the shaking purple treasure tree opposite, Beiwa ancestor is not like him after all. He has already understood the way of space to Deluo true immortal, and cooperates with Hunyuan. The divine gate is enough to stop it. But Su Junming wanted more than just blocking it. With a thought in his heart, the Hunyuan divine gate instantly turned into the color of crystal and became translucent. At the same time, Ancestor Beiwa instantly felt that the barrier that originally blocked the purple light suddenly disappeared. The instant feeling of stepping into the air made him almost unable to maintain his Taoism, and his consciousness was somewhat confused. But what made him even more unbelievable was that the green-robed Taoist and the giant gate were clearly there, but he was not aware of the other's existence at all. It's as if the two are not in the same time and space at all. They can be seen but cannot be touched. How can it be? Ancestor Beiwa's face was full of disbelief. He had never experienced anything like this. An idea of escape grew from the depths of his heart. At this moment, the vast divine gate suddenly turned into a huge black bell. Clang clang clang. The mighty bell suddenly rang. Ancestor Beiwa, who instinctively sensed the danger, quickly urged to shake the purple treasure tree. There are many space barriers in front of you. But what makes him collapse is that no matter how many spatial barriers he sets up, they will be easily broken through by the opponent. As the two sides get closer and closer, the idea of danger becomes stronger and stronger. At that moment, he no longer hesitated, shook the purple tree, turned around and ran away. In the past, he had repeatedly escaped from the Deluo monks with the help of Baishu's speed of spatial movement. He believed that he could escape this time too. But the next moment, he suddenly discovered that the person who once shook the purple tree like an arm had lost consciousness. Immediately afterwards, he discovered that the magic bag around his waist had gone somewhere. All the treasures were gone. Except for a black divine gate in the distance, the master and disciple were no longer visible. How so? I don't believe it. Hundreds of flowers kill the formation, and the soaring sword energy penetrates the sky. The surging sword energy slashed straight towards the black divine gate, but the black divine gate was like a shadow. No matter how he killed it, it could not be shaken at all. Master, isn't this guy crazy? Sun Shi said in surprise as he looked at Beiwa ancestor who was shouting crazily and urging his Dao Dharma to attack madly at the uninhabited place. How could a monk with perfect Tai golden immortal become crazy? It's just that his master made him immersed in fantasy. Just now, he used the Hunyuan divine sect to turn into a big bell, but he didn't use the soul-falling bell magical power, but the Huangliang fantasy world. This is Ao Tian's innate magical power, which can instantly pull people into a dream. Although Beiwa ancestor is a perfect Tai golden immortal, he cannot resist the power of the middle-grade Deluo Lingbao Hunyuan divine sect. With a finger, a magnificent divine light erupted from the Hunyuan divine gate under his feet, and Beiwa ancestor was instantly pulled into the huge void space of the divine gate. He reached out and made a move, and his bag of magic and the purple tree flew into his palm. With a flick of his fingers, Taoist Mai, who was tightly bound to the tree, regained his freedom. Thank you fellow Taoist for saving my life. You're welcome. If it weren't for my master and apprentice, you wouldn't be involved in this and almost lose your life. Let's go, otherwise we will be discovered and it will be difficult to leave again. After saying that, he waved his sleeves and the three figures disappeared instantly. All traces of the fighting here were erased by Su Junming. The two of them had only left for half a quarter of an hour when a bolt of light came rushing towards them. Soon a middle-aged monk wearing a grey robe, a feathered coat and a high crown, a slender face and a serious expression was revealed. I took a few glances at the scene and reached out to grab it, but I didn't find any trace. After frowning slightly and looking around, the light shot up into the sky and quickly disappeared. After him, it took a full quarter of an hour for someone to come. But still gained nothing. The middle-aged man was running at lightning speed, and the direction he was heading towards was obviously Tianyang Mountain. Unlike the monks who stayed on the periphery, he went directly to the core of Tianyang Mountain and landed in front of a wide cliff. In front of the cliff, the sea of clouds is misty, and the blue sky and red sun are reflected, which is magnificent. The middle-aged man seemed not to notice the scenery and walked straight into a large cave in the mountain behind the cliff. After passing through a winding corridor, our eyes suddenly opened up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 938. The extremely spacious stone chamber, which is 3 acres in size, is illuminated by the night pearl above. In the center of the stone chamber is a lotus pond, with 4 or 5 milky white lotus flowers, accompanied by more than 20 dark green lotus leaves, which is uniquely elegant. The lotus pond is extremely clear, and you can clearly see dozens of translucent fish with red eyes, quickly competing for food, causing the originally quiet pond to stir up waves, and even the lotus leaves began to sway. After throwing the last bit of food in, the old man with a gloomy temperament wearing a black and purple robe, long hair shawl, raised his head and looked at the middle-aged man. Did you see anyone? It was already gone when I went there. The fight can end so quickly. It seems that the strength of the people who did it is very different. He patted the fish food residue on his hand. They are just a few ants in the Tai realm. If you don't see them, you don't see them. They are not worthy of such attention. Many seemingly foolproof things have been ruined by the ants in your mouth. The old man glanced at him without arguing. He tossed it casually, and a palm-sized token with a black lotus embossed on the front and a 2-character divine pattern embossed on the north flew into the past. The middle-aged man took it in his hand and his expression became serious. What is the order from the leader? The leader asked you to hold a sacrifice. The holy cult needs more believers. After saying that, the old man slapped the magic bag, and a black rock shrouded in black mist flew over. This rock is about the size of a water tank, with 2 tall hills above it. The thick black mist below envelopes the mountain, making it difficult to see clearly. A crack 6 to 7 inches wide and nearly 3 feet long connected the 2 hills. Black mist filled the cracks, and the wails of the dead could be faintly heard. Abyss Demon Realm. The middle-aged man was shocked. Among the 5 major demon realms of our religion, the Abyss Demon Realm is second only to the Black Lotus Demon Realm. This shows how much the leader trusts you. The middle-aged man took a deep breath and waved to bring the Abyss Demon Realm over. Holding it in the palm of his hand, he looked a little solemn. Does the leader have any other instructions? After completing this matter, the leader will ask you to return to the Black Lotus Demon Realm and allow you to comprehend the infinite Black Lotus for a period of time. This is a grace given to you by the leader alone. We have never enjoyed this kind of treatment. There was also a bit of envy in his words. Okay, I've said everything I need to say. If you have no questions, just ask. If not, the leader has other things to ask me to do, so I won't stay long. How many demon souls does the leader want? Of course, the more, the better. She glanced at him and said, Why, are you soft-hearted? I'm just afraid that killing too many people will attract the attention of both Buddhism and Taoism, and expose the existence of our religion in advance. The old man looked at him deeply. Hey, that's best. Okay, I'm leaving. What a pity. The wailing, despair, and helplessness of millions of monks before their death must be such a wonderful piece of music. Ha ha. Accompanied by crazy laughter, the old man's figure disappeared into the cave. The middle-aged man looked at the demonic abyss in his hand and frowned. After a while, he sighed and shook his head. Since we are already deep in the mud, why should we retain this ridiculous mercy? That's it. Back to the little hidden valley. I want to meditate to recover my magic power, so I won't be able to accompany him. Taoist priest Mai hurriedly said, Master, you can do whatever you want. Thank you very much for this. If you need help in the future, I can ask for help. Su Junming smiled and turned his head. Are you going back with me? Or are you going to go out on your own? Hey, Master, my disciple is full of energy, so I won't accompany you anymore. I will go to the market later. That's fine. Don't cause any trouble for me. Master, don't worry. As long as they don't take the initiative to provoke me, son, I promise not to provoke them. Fellow Taoist son, how about I accompany you? Before Taoist Mai could finish speaking, Sun Shi jumped and disappeared into the deep valley. Without the companionship of fellow Taoists, I am more comfortable alone. The voice curled up and gradually disappeared. Fellow Taoist, don't blame me. This disciple of mine has an out-of-control temperament and refuses to be controlled. I will teach him a lesson when he comes back. The real person is serious. Taoist friend Sun's innocent mind is indeed the best for cultivating Taoism. As long as you don't blame me, fellow Taoist. If I have to go to meditate and practice Phelan Dafa, I won't be able to accompany you. The real person can go as he pleases. Su Junming nodded, turned around and walked towards his stone room. Watching his leaving figure, Taoist Mai looked at him for a moment, then turned and returned to his room. With a wave of his hand, he placed a ban and sealed the entire room with the Hunyuan Divine Gate. Su Junming stepped into the void space of the Divine Gate. Ancestor Beiwa, who has been venting madly here for a long time and consuming most of his mana, has been sealed. Su Junming stretched out his hand and used the thick soul-binding rope to pull out the soul of Beiwa ancestor and search his memory. After a while, he took out his storage bag again. Soon a simple jade slip appeared in his palm. His spiritual consciousness was immersed, and the four-character divine pattern of the true solution to 100 flowers came into view. This technique is in line with Yumu's Tao and is directly directed towards the true immortal De Luo. It is also the main Tao technique practiced by Beiwa ancestor. Although the 100 flowers true Ji is considered to be the top grade of Yumu Kung Fu, it was one of the techniques that really made Su Junming curious. 100 flowers killing formation. With a spiritual flower as the foundation, life and life are intertwined and cultivated, and it becomes the original spiritual flower. At that time, not only can you rely on the natural ability of the spirit flower to fight the enemy, but you can also use the spirit flower to absorb spiritual energy, refine your magic power, and replenish yourself. Double or even higher chi refining speed will naturally achieve twice the result with half the effort in terms of cultivation. What's even more exaggerated is that every time you break through a level in the future, you can practice another natal spirit flower. Foundation building does not count. Xiantian, Jindan, Yuanying, Yuanshen, Yuanyang celestial immortal, Yuanyang true immortal, Yuanyang Xianxian, Yuanyang golden immortal, Tai celestial immortal, Tai true immortal, Tai Xianxian, Tai Eugenex Xian. Each realm offers a natal spirit flower. If you can cultivate to De Luo or even Hunyuan, you can continue to practice. The strange thing is that even if they are trained into natal spirit flowers, these spirit flowers are still capable of growth and can continue to improve their level with the nourishment of spiritual energy and the replenishment of mana. Therefore, even if your cultivation level becomes higher in the future, the spirit flowers you practiced at the beginning can still be used. More importantly, it is the same prohibition that Su Junming understood from the cornucopia of gold ships obtained by Guangcheng. Once the spirit flowers are sacrificed and refined into the life spirit flowers, they can coordinate with each other and burst out with all their power in an instant. Therefore, cultivators of the 100 flowers killing formation do not need to practice any other Taoist methods. As long as they make good use of the ability of the natal spirit flower, they will be able to dominate the cultivation world. Moreover, the spirit flower can also help with cultivation, which is good news for those with high understanding and low qualifications. According to the true explanation of 100 flowers, if one can possess 2 Yuan-Yang realm spirit flowers, their qualifications will be no less than that of Taishi's innate spirit. That is Su Junming's current qualifications. If you have 2 Tai realm spirit flowers, their qualifications will be no less than the Tai innate spirit. The same is true for Deluo realm. Of course, it's just qualifications. Innate gods are favored by heaven and earth. Qualifications are only one aspect. Understanding, luck, character, and perseverance are all the best choices. But this does not undermine the power of the 100 flowers true solution and the 100 flowers killing formation. Unfortunately, this book is not without its weaknesses. Or it can't be said to be a weakness. However, if you want to practice the 100 flowers true solution, you must understand the way of Yumu or the way of King Mu. Otherwise, the 100 flowers cannot be refined into the life spirit flower, the true chi cannot be unified, and the 100 flowers killing formation will become the mirror moon water flower. It's a pity that I don't have any disciples who major in the Aoki way or the Yumu way. Sun Shi had practiced both martial arts and the Greenwood way, but if he was allowed to play with flowers and plants, the monkey would definitely go crazy. A Sun Shi with flowers on his head, flowers around his waist, and colorful clothes? Su Junming shuddered suddenly. The picture is too beautiful to even think about. Forget it. With a gesture of his hand, 16 strange flowers of various shapes flew out from the danchan of Beiwa ancestor's physical body. The so-called 100 flowers are just an imaginary number, and there are only 16 true natal spiritual flowers. Is this the Chenlei spirit flower? Opening your palm, a 5-petal blue-white spiritual flower with oval leaves, the size of a basin, slowly fell into your hand. At the same time, a surging thunder rhyme was introduced into the sea of consciousness. Shenlei Linghua is a strange flower of Leideo. It is only a Yuan-Yang level when it is born, and then absorbs infinite thunder power to grow. It takes 100,000 years to become the Tai realm spiritual root, and it takes 100 million years to become a Deluo level. The color of the Shenlei Linghua bud in front of me has turned red to purple, and it is already at the peak of Tai. When it completely turns lavender, it's time to advance to Deluo. After playing with it for a while, I discovered another hollow heart flower. This is a hallucinogenic spiritual flower. Both kinds of flowers are exotic flowers that Su Junming has never seen before. The rest are cultivated in Chongshan Academy or Creation Spirit Island. Regardless of whether it is the Shenlei spirit flower or the hollow spirit flower, although they each have their own magical uses, they are basically Yumu. Of course, whether it is the 100 flowers true solution or the 16 spiritual flowers, they are not as good as shaking the purple treasure tree. Space spiritual roots are really too rare. This is the first time he has seen it so far. Moreover, this is an acquired high-grade spiritual root, which is even more rare. Su Junming is not the ancestor of Beiwa. The latter thought of refining it into a treasure. Su Junming first thought of restoring its vitality and then seeing if it could be used to make elixirs. Even when refining weapons, only some branches are taken, never the whole plant is used for sacrifice. He prefers sustainable development to one-and-done sales. Plant the shaking purple treasure tree on the immortal island of creation and water it with the spiritual water of creation. The tree's vitality will soon be restored. After absorbing the spiritual energy and recovering his mana, he glanced at the 3 dragon emperors who were meditating next to them, and then left here. Just as he was about to go to Tiangong Palace to make alchemy, he suddenly realized that someone had touched the restriction he placed outside the stone chamber. With a thought in his heart, he came outside in an instant, put away the Hunyuan divine gate, and after opening the restriction, the figure of Taoist Mai appeared in front of him. The latter walked in with a worried look on his face. "Master, go and have a look. The disciple is fighting with others in the market. 3 of them have been killed right now." Su Junming frowned. "Real? It's absolutely true, go and have a look." It's too late. When he is captured by immortal Qi Lingzi, his life may not be saved. Walk. Su Junming ducked out of the stone room. Behind him, the originally anxious Taoist Mai suddenly turned ferocious. Thanks to book friend 202012092259393705 for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 939. A black steel whip as thick as an goose egg appeared in Taoist Mai's palm. When the whip was struck, the speed was extremely fast. With a pop sound, Su Junming was hit hard on the back. He instantly avoided the flesh and was seriously injured. The next moment, a long black spike fell and nailed Yuan Shen. Haha, seeing how you can defeat that old guy from Beiwa, I thought you were such a difficult character, but I didn't expect you to be defeated so easily. Retracting the black steel whip, Taoist Mai walked over with a proud look on his face. Why? Su Junming asked. You have so many treasures on you, who can I kill if I don't kill you? So, you were caught by Ancestor Beiwa on purpose. That's right. I originally planned to wait for you to fight to the death, and I would bring a fisherman behind me. I didn't expect that Beiwa ancestor was so helpless and was easily killed by you. As a result, my plan failed and I had to do it myself. I thought it would be very troublesome. After all, your strength is not weak. I didn't expect that you are a good master who cares about his apprentice. As soon as he heard that his apprentice was causing trouble, he became confused and relaxed his vigilance. This gave me a sure shot. A chance to kill. So, you made up the dispute between my disciple and someone, Su Junming said. Of course. The purpose is to confuse your mind and gain the opportunity for a sneak attack. Aren't you afraid that I'll contact him first and expose you? When you contact me, your mind will definitely relax, and it will be the same when I take action. Su Jun nodded clearly. You are really thoughtful and have everything figured out. Of course. I never do anything I'm not sure about. Seeing his proud and confident look, Su Junming suddenly said. You are not Taoist Mai. You do have some discernment. I am indeed not that weakling. I just share the same body with him. This person looked contemptuous. When he came to me, it was probably to deal with you, right? How do you know? The man looked shocked. Guess. He looked at him deeply. No matter why you know, you are already meat on my chopping board, so it doesn't hurt to tell you. You are right. The reason why he came to you is indeed to deal with me. In his opinion, 2 Tai golden immortals are enough to destroy me. He even plans to take the initiative to help you. But how could I let him get his wish? Before he could think about what to tell you, I had already taken action to suppress him in advance. Suddenly, his expression froze, and then a trace of pain climbed onto his face. Ah, after a painful cry, the expression on his face changed drastically. Damn coward, you can never replace me. Brother, stop it, you can't kill anyone anymore. Mai's voice sounded. Go away. Don't call me brother, I don't have a coward brother like you. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, I would have become a great Luo celestial immortal, high above the world, and the ancestor of all demons. The roaring voice was filled with hatred. After all, it was the demon soul's stronger cultivation that gradually suppressed Mai's soul. Just when he thought he had successfully taken over his body, he suddenly discovered that a thick chain flew silently from behind, locking his soul tightly. A powerful force of imprisonment came from the chain, and no matter how hard he struggled, he could not shake it. Subconsciously looking along the chain, a familiar figure appeared in his eyes. Looking at the figure in front of him who was whipped to death by his own black devil and restrained by soul-locking nails, his face was full of disbelief. How is it possible? Impossible. How are you alive? Su Junming, who was behind, reached out and pulled, and the soul-locking chain flew out of Taoist Mai's body. At the end of the chain is a strange spirit. As if they were conjoined, their backs were tightly glued together. The person on the left has a face full of kindness, and a milky white light shines from his body, exuding an aura that makes people trust him and subconsciously want to get close to him. It was Taoist Mai. The person on the right has a face full of hostility, shrouded in black devilish aura, which makes people feel bored. One white, one black, one righteous, and one devil. After taking a look, Su Junming waved, and the top-grade immortal treasure-level soul-locking nail next to him instantly flew up and fell into his palm and disappeared. Without the master's supervision, even the great Luo Lingbao would be nothing more than a dead thing, let alone a top-grade immortal treasure. Without the restraint of the soul-locking nail, the soul submerged into the physical body. Su Junming flicked his fingers, and a milky white force of creation entered his body. The broken body was quickly repaired, and the lost vitality gradually became stronger. Soon a full-fledged Su Junming appeared. This scene made the demon soul next to him stunned. The newly born Su Junming took a step and disappeared instantly. How could this happen? There is obviously a spirit and a soul, so how can it be a clone? Until now, demon soul has been unable to figure it out. If it is a clone, it is impossible to have a soul. Being cautious by nature, he could never make a mistake. Listening to his murmur, Su Junming smiled faintly. This is not a clone, but Chen Xuanzang's soul innate magical power, the Ruyi body. As his 7 spirits Dharmakaya, Su Junming can use their soul path magical powers, whether it is Renwuji, Dragon Emperor, or Chen Xianzang. It's just that he rarely uses it. Moreover, if he had not been in Ruyi Shen just now and was protected by the Hunyuan divine sect, how could he have been so easily attacked by the demon soul? Of course, there is no need to tell the demon soul this. He turned the bronze mirror and took a look, his brows furrowed. The soul of Taoist Mai and the soul of demon soul are like 2 melons grown on a vine. 3 souls and 7 souls are tightly connected together. It is extremely difficult to separate them. Swords and magic weapons are too evil and can easily hurt the soul. Moreover, the cultivation level of the 2 of them is too high, especially the cultivation level of demon soul has reached Tai Golden Immortal. Unless it is a top-grade fairy treasure, and it must be a top-grade fairy treasure that has just been sacrificed and has not yet been stained with blood, it can be used. There are many refiners in the earthly immortal world who can refine the best immortal treasures, but all of them are superior. If you want them to help, Taoist Mai, a casual cultivator at the peak of Tai True Immortal, can't do it yet. With the magical weapon, a master with a cultivation level of at least Tai Golden Immortal must be needed to separate the souls for them. With a slightly lower level of cultivation and insufficient spiritual awareness, controlling a top-quality fairy treasure is like a child swinging a sledgehammer, and there is no way to control it accurately. Once the soul is injured, it may be seriously injured, or the road may be destroyed. Moreover, the Tai Golden Immortal who helped must be a sincere gentleman, otherwise exposing his soul to the other party would be equivalent to handing over his life to the other party. If this person has evil intentions, he can easily behead him with one sword. That is such an injustice. Each of these conditions is difficult to achieve individually. Put together, it is simply hell. Consider yourself lucky to meet me. Su Junming didn't have the magical weapon he had just practiced, but he could use the soul path magical power of Tai Zhenjun. Erwu soul cutting knife. There is nothing more suitable than using soul power to divide the soul. He pointed like a sword, and a bright black sword light burst out. First seal the souls of the 2, then remove the soul binding ropes, and slash them down with the light of the sword. Laugh. Like a hot knife cutting through butter. The 2 people, who had been closely connected for tens of thousands of years, were separated in an instant. With a flick of his finger, Taoist Mai's soul fell into his physical body. After the seal was removed, the latter's expression gradually returned to alertness. Feeling the change in the soul, a deep joy surged into my heart. Thank you, Misato. In the future, if you can uphold the right path and help the strong and the weak, this will be my greatest reward. Ma Yi will never forget the teachings of a real person. He glanced at the black demon soul in Su Junming's hand, hesitated for a moment and then gritted his teeth. Master, can you give me your younger brother's soul so that I can transform him? Are your brothers born like this? Su Junming asked instead. Yes. Our souls are connected and we share a body. It was originally agreed that I would be born during the day to control the physical body, and he would come out to control the physical body at night. Day and night alternate, and we share a human relationship. It was normal at first, but then I got the chance to start practicing. By accident, he got a magic book, and he went astray from then on. I was able to suppress him at first, but then he became stronger and stronger, and gradually overpowered me. Fortunately, I got a top-grade Pure Yang immortal treasure when I entered Taoism in my early years, which could help me suppress his demonic energy, otherwise I would have been swallowed up by him long ago. But as his cultivation reaches the Tai Golden Immortal Realm, the suppressive effect of the Pure Yang immortal treasure is getting weaker and weaker, and his fierce flames are getting hotter and hotter. I really have no other way, so I plan to come to the market to find some cultivators. For someone strong enough to help me kill him. Since you have the desire to destroy demons, just kill yourself. Why do you need help from others? I've thought about it too. But our souls are connected and our minds are connected. Whenever I want to kill myself, he will stop me. I can only turn to outsiders for help. I didn't expect that I was completely suppressed by him before I had time to say anything. Fortunately, the real person's cultivation level is high enough, otherwise I would really harm others and myself, and make a big mistake. While Taoist Mai was feeling regretful, he also looked happy. Su Junming nodded. You have passed the catastrophe. You should practice well in the future. This demon soul is your catastrophe. I won't give it to you for the sake of your path. After the words fell, the figure slowly disappeared. Real person. Before Taoist Mai could finish speaking, Su Junming had disappeared. After leaving the hidden valley, he took out the demon soul and used the soul-searching method to prove that what Taoist Mai said was true. He clenched his right hand and let out a shrill scream. The demon soul was instantly wiped out. With a wave of his hand, the remaining soul essence and ownerless demonic energy flowed into the immortal path of creation, and were crushed into pieces by the acquired chaotic energy. After being transformed by nearly 100 spiritual roots, they were completely dissipated. He didn't bother to retrain the few magic weapons he got from the demon soul, so he repeated his old tricks, crushed them and threw them into the creation spirit island. The day after tomorrow, the chaotic spiritual energy rushed forward and was transformed by the top-grade and top-grade spiritual roots. The pure innate Taoist spiritual energy. After dealing with these, Su Junming found Sun Shi's location and urged Hu Tianshen to perform the magic. The space folded and the figure disappeared instantly. The next moment, we were above Fangxi again. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 940. As more and more listeners gathered, the size of the market became much larger than before. There are nearly 1 million stalls, large and small. The dense flow of people is comparable to that of a mundane market. Not to mention crowded, but there is an endless stream. Originally, he wanted to find Sun Shi and wait for the sermon to begin, but seeing the scene at his feet, Su Junming had the idea of taking a stroll again. He looked at Sun Shi first. The monkey was squatting in front of a stall that was about 7 feet in size. He didn't know what to look at. Without disturbing him, Su Junming was in mid-air, hiding in the mustard space he created, and activated the bronze mirror to observe various things placed on the ground. Picking up leaks is like washing away sand in a big wave, and not one of the hundreds of thousands of items may be eye-catching. But the total number of things sold in this market is nearly 10 billion, including spiritual materials, magic weapons, elixirs, spiritual gold, spiritual beasts, spiritual water, etc., almost everything that can be named in the earthly immortal world. They all have it, the difference is just the grade. Su Junming looked over one by one, and none of the hundreds of millions of items caught his eye. Did they all get picked off by that monkey? Suddenly a powerful spiritual light came into view. My heart was shocked and I quickly turned around. Finally something gained. With one step, he was in front of the stall in an instant. His sudden appearance did not cause much shock. They are all monks, and they have all kinds of escape techniques, so they have long been used to them. In front of him is a stone platform 3 feet long and 9 feet wide. 3 things were placed on it. An iron ring 1 foot 3 inches in diameter, completely black and shining with red light. This is a top-grade immortal treasure. Looking at its aura, you can tell that it is a mountain-breaking, extremely hard and killing treasure. In the middle is a yellow withered bamboo. Although it has a root system, it has long since lost its vitality. The rich scent of yumu emanated, tempting people around to look at it. Su Junming likes spiritual roots and elixirs the most and has studied them the most. With a simple look, he instantly recognized that this withered bamboo was Tai's top-grade spiritual root, the purple-spotted spiritual bamboo. Looking at the other party's arrangement, it was obvious that he knew this treasure and the price must be high. He didn't plan to buy it even though it was already cultivated on Creation Spirit Island. But his real goal is the irregular boulder on the far right, which is 1 foot 7 feet tall and 2 feet 3 feet long. This stone, which was completely black and had a mottled surface, was all too familiar to him. Chaos Divine Stone. This is a stone formed by the condensation of chaotic energy from heaven and earth. Is it precious? Of course it is very precious. This kind of divine stone from outside is extremely rare. But it is very difficult to use this sacred stone. The energy of chaos is so violent that there is no way to absorb and refine it. It's impossible to refine treasures. The restraint has already been wiped out by the energy of chaos before it even reaches it. Unless you have high-grade innate spiritual roots, you can transform the chaos divine stone into spiritual energy bit by bit. But there are not many high-grade innate spiritual roots in the entire earthly immortal world. Another person who can digest the chaos divine stone is the earthly immortal realm itself. Therefore, to ordinary monks, the chaos divine stone is a fruit that can be seen but cannot be eaten. Big forces can use them as collectibles, and the wisest way for casual cultivators is to exchange them for what they want. Obviously, this is the case for the swordsman who is wearing a gray robe, a straw rope around his waist, and a long sword on his back, sitting in front of the stone platform. How to sell this chaos divine stone? Hearing his words, Jianqiu turned around and looked over. Upon seeing it, his eyes immediately fluctuated. It seems you know me. Leng Jianqiu pays homage to Master Chongshan. 5 years ago, I heard the sermon of Master Wude in Lingling County and also met him. I see. I didn't expect that you and I would still have this kind of fate. His eyes turned. How do you plan to sell this chaos divine stone? Originally, I was thinking of asking for a sword cultivation technique that goes directly to Deluo, and I would like to exchange it for 18 pills of Tai Perfection Elixir. Since the real person wants it, I just want a sword cultivation technique that reaches Deluo Golden Immortal level. After smiling and nodding, are you a casual cultivator? Yes. That day, my third junior brother opened a mountain to recruit disciples, but you didn't participate. No, this junior has a mentor. Although his mentor has passed away long ago, he is not willing to join another school. Eyes show approval. Your master is lucky to have a disciple like you to carry on the section. Thank you for the compliment, senior. You and I have similar cultivation levels, so there is no need to regard ourselves as juniors. Leng Jiankai shook his head. If I hadn't listened to the sermon of Wu Genren in Lingling County 5 years ago, I would not have broken through to Tai Golden Immortal. Therefore, although I have not become a disciple of Chongshan, Wu Genren is the respect of the junior master, and the senior is senior brother. Wu is naturally Leng Jiankai's elder. It's rare that you have such thoughts. With a wave of his hand, a jade slip flew into his hand. This Maluo sword technique points directly to Deluo Jinxian and is enough for your future cultivation needs. With the help of Kinkan Taoist from Kinkan Cave in Wuji Mountain, as well as the collection of books from East Emperor Tai and Wangshu of Yeyu Palace in Kongsang Mountain, Su Junming had many high-level skills in his hands. Not to mention directly targeting Deluo, there are also 6 or 7 that directly target Hunyuan. The Maluo sword art was extremely precious in the eyes of outsiders, but in his eyes it was ordinary. Thank you, Masato. Leng Jiankai was overjoyed at the sight. As soon as his heart moved, a white porcelain bottle flew out from the green gourd at his waist. These 18 Tai 3 Emperor pills are my secret elixir from Chongshan. Take it. Real person. He waved his hand to interrupt him. You claim to be a junior, how can I, as an elder, take advantage of you? Moreover, it is not easy to practice casual cultivation, and it is even more difficult to be able to refuse temptation, and to persist in the Tao. These 18 pills can help you consolidate your cultivation. He waved his sleeves and put away the Chaos Divine Stone beside him. The figure disappeared in an instant. Have a good life and practice. Thank you, Senior. Leng Jiankai bowed respectfully. Both of them were communicating with their spiritual consciousness, and the people around them saw it and only knew that the deal was concluded, but they didn't know what was said. Arriving in mid-air, he glanced at Leng Jiankai below. It's a good seedling, but it's a pity. This person's qualifications, understanding, and perseverance are no less than those of Yan Chixia, but without the blessing of a big sect, the road is destined to be much more bumpy. Shaking his head slightly, he stepped into the Hunyuan Divine Gate. Before he could check his harvest, a light flashed around him, and Sun Shi's figure appeared in front of him. Master, Master, you will never guess what I bought this time. Seeing his proud look, Su Junming turned his head. Yeah. Before he could ask, Sun Shi had already taken out a dead branch as if offering a treasure. Master, look. This dead branch is 3 feet 9 inches long, with 6 or 7 broken branches on it. The wide part is about the same diameter as an adult's thumb, and the narrow part is only half an inch. The spiritual energy in the dead branches is sparse, and it looks like an ordinary spiritual material. Master, the buyer didn't know the goods and thought they were ordinary things. But I used a bronze mirror to find a seal deep in the dead branches. It's just that I'm not good at this method. I still need Master to undo it before I can recreate the original shape of this thing. Su Junming nodded. When he moved the bronze mirror, he saw that there was a seal deep in the dead branch. This seal is extremely hidden and difficult to detect if you are not proficient in this technique. After a brief reflection, Su Junming's hands bloomed with spiritual light, and the seals flew into them one by one. Soon, a dazzling spiritual light emanated from the depths of the dead branches. Open. A loud drink. The powerful greenwood spiritual energy instantly turned the original area into emerald green. The body size also expanded 3 times. At the same time, fragments of spiritual light emerged from the branches. There are divine patterns in the aura. Aoki divine technique. Is this a technique? Su Junming nodded. It's still a piece of King Mu Kung Fu that can advance to Deluo. Sun Shi couldn't help but feel disappointed. He has no shortage of skills, and this branch is only a top-grade Tai tree, not a valuable treasure. I thought I got a great treasure, but I didn't expect it was just a piece of practice. Haha, what a disappointment. Compared with what you paid to buy this dead branch, the value of the technique and the flat peach branch are hundreds of times higher. That's true. Sun Shi's mood improved instantly. But compared to his original expectations, it was obviously not as good as it was. But, I still have this. As he said that, Sun Shi took out another stone from the bag that was dusty and had an uneven surface, about the size of a basketball. Spotted spirit stone. Sun Shi chuckled, squeezed hard, and the stone gradually shattered, revealing a powerful Zhengjin spiritual energy. Among the flying stone chips, a piece of metal the size of an apple was gradually revealed. The metal surface is silvery white with purple markings in the middle. The entire metal block exudes extremely powerful Zhengjin spiritual energy. You are in good luck. Su Junming praised. The spotted spirit stone is a high-grade spiritual material from Yuan Yang that can isolate spiritual consciousness. Many monks use this kind of spirit stone to decorate their dojos to prevent others from prying. Later, some people took advantage of the characteristics of the spotted spirit stone and made it into a gambling stone to entertain monks. But in addition to spiritual consciousness, the world of spiritual practice also has various divine eyes, as well as treasures that peer into the inner reality. Hard to guard against. After being popular for a while, stone gambling declined. Obviously, the spotted spirit stone that Sun Shi obtained was a gambling stone. But he was lucky. There was a piece of purple patterned spiritual gold hidden in this spiritual stone. The latter is De Luo's low-grade spiritual material. Such a large piece, with some spiritual materials added, can completely refine a De Luo low-grade spiritual treasure. Facing the master's praise, Sun Shi couldn't help but show a proud smile on his face. Is there anything else? Shaked his head. It's a great chance that the disciples can find two hidden treasures in the big waves. That's true. However, I also got a treasure as a teacher. You are here to taste it together. With a wave of his sleeves, the Chaos Divine Stone that he had collected earlier flew out. Chaos Divine Stone. Su Junming smiled and nodded. Spreading his left hand, a broken bronze sword appeared in his palm. The Chaos Divine Stone is extremely hard, and it is not easy to break it open. Of course, the bronze broken sword is an exception. Su Junming did not activate its internal restrictions, but the sharpness of the sword itself easily cut the Chaos Divine Stone into two pieces. A bright ray of colorful rays of light bloomed. The rich Taoist rhyme and the rich innate chaotic energy made Sun Shi's eyes widen in an instant. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 941. The two halves of the Chaos God Stone split apart, and the lavender innate chaotic energy filled the air, and the colorful glow was extremely rich. In the spiritual glow, a ball of milky white slurry flew out, and the extremely rich aura of creation spread out. In the beginning, the fundamental energy of creation was created innately. Sun Shi blurted out in shock. This thing can be called the source of all things, and can create the existence of the innate gods in the beginning. If a monk takes it, not only can he instantly improve his qualifications and transform into an innate god, but he can also improve his cultivation. Absolutely great opportunity. Su Junming's face was also full of joy. No matter how much you see through the bronze mirror, it's not as good as seeing it in front of you. This feeling of being within reach is so wonderful. Just when the two were immersed in shock, joy, and excitement, the broken bronze sword originally held by Su Junming in his right hand suddenly trembled. Before he could recover, a misty blue light flashed across. The ball, which was as big as a football, was shrinking rapidly. Su Junming saw it in his eyes and felt anxious in his heart. This is the fundamental energy created by the innate Taibei, and it is extremely precious. Just a little bit can create an unparalleled spiritual creature of an innate god. As fast as lightning, he stepped forward and stretched out his hand to grab it. In the end, only some egg-sized ones were left, and the rest were absorbed by the broken bronze sword. "Master, what's going on?" Sun Shi's eyes widened. Su Junming also saw it for the first time. Before he could speak, the broken bronze sword that had absorbed the aura of creation suddenly started to tremble. The misty green light spread out, covering a distance of more than 3 feet. Buzz! The crisp sword cry was weak at first, but became more intense later on. Finally, the void within the entire Hunyuan divine sect was echoing for hundreds of billions of miles. It was as if a king who had survived 100 battles was shouting for his own return. After being immersed in the sound of the sword for an unknown amount of time, everything fell silent. Compared to before, the broken sword was still a broken sword, but the rust on it was gone. The blade of the sword, which was originally 1 foot 7 inches, grew 6 inches longer and became 2 feet 3 inches. "Master, won't this sword become a demon?" With the help of the bronze mirror, Su Junming could clearly see that there were only 4 purple bars in the broken sword, but now there were 6. Apart from this, there is no demonic presence. Shaked his head. "It's not a demon, it's the spirituality of the sword itself. This spirituality is too strong. The more powerful the magic weapon, the stronger its spirituality. Put away the remaining fundamental chi of innate creation in your hands, cherishing it carefully. Although it's not much, it comes in handy at critical moments." He stretched out his hand and a broken bronze sword flew into his palm. Without the obstruction of rust, everything looks extremely clear. The head of the sword is in the shape of a mountain, and the hilt is cylindrical with simple diamond-shaped decorations. The calyx of the sword is like a flattened lotus, which is extremely exquisite. The blade of the sword is 3 fingers wide, the blade is sharp, and there are neat fish scale patterns distributed on the spine. Below the calyx of the sword, there is a 2-character divine pattern on the sword spine. It was previously covered by rust and was difficult to identify. Now the broken sword was as bright as new. Su Junming looked at it again and recognized it at a glance. But after recognizing it, he was stunned. Because their translated meaning is Qingping. Qingping sword? How could it be Qingping sword? Su Junming's face was filled with disbelief. "Master, is this the Qingping sword? According to legend, isn't the Qingping sword the sword of the leader of Tongtian, a Taoist from the Shangqing dynasty?" After taking a deep breath to calm down the shocking emotions in his heart, he slowly shook his head. "I don't know either. But it should be Qingping sword. Swords restricted by the 6 paths of Hunyuan are absolutely rare, and the Qingping sword of the Lord Tongtian is definitely one of them. If it is really the Qingping sword, how could it be broken? The leader of Tongtian is the legendary saint, the leader of Zhejiao, whose strength reaches the heavens and the earth." Su Junming pondered for a moment and then shook his head again. "Compared to that saint, our cultivation is too low. But the fighting technique that can break the Qingping sword must be earth-shattering, and we can't take a peek now." Looking down at the broken sword in his hand, the words that once resounded throughout history came to mind. Red flowers, lotus roots, and green lotus leaves, the 3 religions were originally one family. For a moment, Su Junming couldn't help but think about it. The joy of getting the heavy treasure was completely disrupted by the Qingping broken sword in front of him. "Forget it, I don't want to think about it anymore. This level of secrets is not something I can peep into now." Putting away the Qingping broken sword with great care, Su Junming secretly decided. "In the future, I will never use the sword unless there is a life or death situation. The significance it represents is too great. Once exposed, the Zhejiao disciples all over the Zhoutian world can tear themselves apart. The coveted person with ulterior motives makes people's scalp numb even more. This matter only comes to you, and must not be told outside." Sun Shi also knew that the matter was of great importance and nodded quickly. Looking at the innate Chaos Chi and Chaos Divine Stone next to them, I instantly felt that their attractiveness had dropped by more than half. They were casually sent to the immortal island of creation, with Wangzhong Plum and Polygonum Multiflorum, 2 top-grade innate spiritual roots and elixirs, as well as numerous top-grade and acquired top-grade spiritual roots, enough to digest them. The emotional ups and downs were so great that the master and the apprentice did not go to Fangxi again. I stayed in Chongshan residence to practice for 2 days, and then came out again when my mood completely calmed down. Before I even started shopping, I heard the majestic bell ringing in the distance. Hearing the sound of the bell, the people in the city seemed to be in a panic, and a swarm of bees flew in the direction of the super bell. Now everyone understands. The day for Immortal Qi Ling's sermon in Yuniadong, Tianyang Mountain, has arrived. Master, the sermon has begun. Su Junming nodded and said, "Let's go, let's follow." The master and apprentice followed the crowd, flying over dozens of mountains, and then fell towards a huge mountain stream. This mountain stream is 9,000 feet long and 1,000 feet wide, like a gaping mouth. The inner mountain wall is steep. Although you can vaguely see the spring water and green vegetation inside, it still feels a bit weird. Seeing that the mountain stream was getting closer and closer, a huge warning sign suddenly rose from the bottom of my heart. Wrong. The steps stopped momentarily. Sun Shi failed to close his momentum and almost hit him. Master, what's wrong? You urge the bronze mirror to look down. Sun Shi did as he was told, and the next moment, the surrounding green mountains and deep streams disappeared, replaced by a large mountain surrounded by endless demonic energy. There is no spring water in the deep stream, but the sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling. What kind of fairy caves are there? They are obviously man-eating demon caves. How could this happen? Sun Shi's face was filled with disbelief. Su Junming stared at the demon world beneath his feet. It seems that Qi Lingzi is not an immortal master, but a complete demon king. After nodding in agreement, he looked at the monk flying into the magic kill like water, and his expression gradually became serious. Master, we must not let him murder these millions of comrades. Su Junming nodded slowly. Tens of thousands of years, nearly 100 sermons, just to catch up today. The lives and flesh and blood of tens of millions of monks are enough to produce countless demonic soldiers. It's okay not to know about such a tragedy. Now that it is happening, it is impossible to sit idly by. Otherwise, Chongshan Academy would be in vain. Let's go. Su Junming had no fear. With Qingping's sword as their trump card, they can still fight out even if they lose. Moreover, he has more than one trump card. The master and apprentice flew down. In other people's eyes, the surroundings are just black rock walls, but from the perspective of the bronze mirror, there are white bones and dead souls all around, and there are more and more as you go down. After going 30,000 feet deep, the surrounding rock walls were no longer visible. Instead, there were undulating mountains at the feet, with not a single tree on them. They are all rocks filled with demonic energy. The rocks are filled with sulfur gas, and you can vaguely see the spitting volcano, or the black river with white bones floating there. In the midst of the magic mountains, magma at every eye, and rivers of dead energy, endless monsters lurk. They are strangely shaped, with multiple legs and arms, multiple eyes and multiple heads, and are covered with hard scales or bone armor, with a ferocious light in their eyes. A wide variety of monsters, crazy killings. The weak are devoured and the strong become stronger. Su Junming watched with his own eyes as the worms crawled out of the river of death, opening their mouths full of sharp fangs, devouring their own kind, growing hands, feet, and scales, becoming more powerful beings, and joining the fighting army. As if natural evolution, through constant killing, those powerful monsters are screened out. As the demon energy continues, so will the monsters. This huge demon world will only become stronger and stronger. Of course, Ordinary monks cannot see all of this. If Su Junming had not understood the way of destiny at a very deep level and sensed the danger in advance, he would not have discovered the true scene here. In the sky of the demon world, sitting on a huge lotus platform, is a middle-aged monk wearing a grey robe, a feather coat and a high crown, with a slender face and a serious expression. An octagonal bronze mirror appeared behind him, and the infinite glazed light enveloped the entire demon world. Obviously, it was this treasure that obscured everyone's eyes and consciousness. The devil has the power of 7 emotions and 6 desires, and is the best at manipulating people's hearts. With the help of Deluo Lingbao, it is not too easy to hide it from a group of monks in the Qi refining, Yuan Yang, and Tai realms. Around the lotus platform, there are tens of millions of Dharma seats. The people who came in earlier were already sitting on it. Master, is he Qi Lingzi? Sun Shi stared at the middle-aged Taoist sitting on the lotus platform. He is the only big guy here, and judging from the looks on the faces of the people listening around him, they can tell whether it is true or not. I'll expose him. No. After stopping him, I'll do it. Without giving Sun Shi time to speak, Su Junming flew forward. Akar Ako. The thunderous voice instantly attracted everyone's attention. Who is this person? How dare you call immortal Master Qi Ling by his first name? Yes, this person is too bold. There are many people listening to the sermon here, and many of them, like Leng Jiankaiu, once listened to the sermon in Lingling City and met Su Junming. Su Junming? Why is he here? Who is Su Junming? Headmaster of Chongshan Academy, Chongshan Master Su Junming. As the discussion increased, Su Junming's identity gradually became known to everyone. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 942. Chapter 923 Qi Lingzi. After understanding Su Junming's identity, everyone's discussion about him calling Qi Lingzi by his first name was no longer so big. Although the spiritual world also pays attention to etiquette and morality, in the final analysis, strength speaks for itself. Chongshan Academy's Dragon Emperor and Tai Zhenjun were two powerful figures who could not help but be disrespected by others. Su Junming has two such powerful junior disciples, who are naturally at the same level of seniority as De Luo, and are qualified to be on an equal footing with Qi Lingzi. Compared with the slowness of ordinary monks, Qi Lingzi recognized Su Junming as soon as he appeared. After all, two De Luo suddenly appeared in Chongshan Academy, and there were rumors that there were more. They were both De Luo monks. How could he not pay attention to them? Why is he here? Things are really in trouble. Unlike the casual cultivators, there is more than one De Luo in charge of Chongshan Academy. If the head of his family dies here, it will definitely be a life and death situation. He didn't care how many monks from the Lianqi, Yuan Yang, and Tai realms died, but De Luo monks were not easy to provoke. It turns out that fellow Taoist Chongshan is in front of you, why don't you go up and sit down? Forget it, I'm leaving my life here. Qi Lingzi narrowed his eyes slightly. Why do fellow Taoists say this? Su Junming smiled lightly. As soon as his heart moved, the bronze mirror instantly appeared above his head. A stream of mirror light burst out like water. The ability to destroy illusions and preserve reality is activated. The next moment, the clear water around them disappeared, ghosts cried, and wolves howled, demonic energy rose, and a hell-like scene appeared in front of everyone. In an instant, everyone listening became in an uproar. I didn't expect that fellow Taoist Chongshan would have such a rare treasure. However, if you had left by yourself just now, you would have had a chance to survive. Now you can only die here. All the cultivators have entered the Abyss Demon realm, and Qi Lingzi does not intend to hide it anymore. We, Chongshan Academy, are a famous and authentic sect, and have always taken slaying demons as our duty. If a poor Taoist abandons the tens of thousands of monks here and runs away alone, Wouldn't it be a failure of the world's expectations? Su Junming is generous and fierce. With so many people present, of course we should advertise Chongshan Academy well and put up the sign of a prestigious and upright family hire. Ha ha ha, fellow Taoist, don't you think that you can defeat me with just a big Luo Lingbao? Qi Lingzi laughed. You'll know if you try it. Forget it, I will let you know the true power of the Luo monks. Don't think that when you defeated the White Tiger ancestor with the formation, you think that all the Luo monks in the world are like this. Point your finger. The treasure mirror above the head emits colorful divine light. 7 holy lights. The 7-colored divine light was like a misty smoke, dying slowly but quickly, shrouding Su Junming like lightning. Feeling the powerful enchanting power in the colorful rays of light, Su Junming did not panic. The seal in the palm changed. Swallow the sky and the earth. The bronze mirror above his head instantly turned into a black hole. He instantly absorbed the light of the 7 saints. Qi Lingzi was not surprised by the scene before her. Tai Jingxian has De Luo Lingbao in hand, so he can compete with De Luo. It's just that the magic power of Tai Golden Immortal will never be as good as that of De Luo Monk. In less than a moment or 3, he will be drained by Lingbao. By then, not only would he get a great Luo Lingbao for free, but he would also be able to complete the task assigned by the leader. So seeing the 7 saints' divine light being swallowed up continuously, it didn't stop. It is clear that Su Junming's mana will be consumed. Su Junming is not a fool, of course he knows everything. Fortunately, he still has a lot of trump cards. With a finger, the magnificent Hunyuan divine gate instantly appeared in mid-air. If you and the others are not able to participate in the De Luo fight, please enter my divine gate to escape for a while. After I have eliminated the evil spirits, I will take you out again. The monk, who had long been frightened by the surrounding environment of evaporating demonic energy, found a way to escape and flew towards the divine gate in panic. Qi Lingzi saw it, his heart moved, and he said loudly, "Did you know that the stone gate is not a place of death?" One sentence instantly stopped those who were about to go in. Yes. Who knows what is going on inside Shimin? What if this true Lord Chongshan is fake? What if all this is an illusion created by the devil, just to let them fly into the stone gate obediently and let the sheep enter the tiger's mouth? Many suspicious people stopped in their tracks. People like to follow the herd, and when they see others not going, people who were planning to go in stop. Are you all crazy? How can you believe what the devil says, Sun Shi said angrily. Who knows whether the true Lord Chongshan and the stone gate in front of me are illusions created by the devil? That's right. The devil is the best at deceiving people. You must not be fooled. Seeing the noisy crowd, Sun Shi almost died of anger. Their masters and disciples were willing to go to dangerous places in order to save people, but instead of being grateful, these people still doubted them. Ha ha ha, Su Junming, have you seen it? The people you risked your lives to save are just a bunch of idiots, Qi Lingzi said. What a poor man does, he just wants to live up to his original intention. As for the result, it is nothing more than doing his best and obeying destiny. After finishing his words, he immediately turned to Sun Shi. Disciple, if you don't believe me, you don't have to worry about it. You can go back to the Hunyuan Zhenmin by yourself. Master, don't show off your strength. You are not allowed to participate in De Luo level fighting. Su Junming, you yourself are nothing more than Tai Golden Immortal, why are you so aggressive in front of your own apprentice? Su Junming slowly landed on the Hunyuan divine gate. He pressed down and drew out the Qingping sword, with the intention of killing his opponent with one strike. Although I don't have the ability to kill you, my Chongshan sect has the power to eliminate demons. Qi Lingzi smiled lightly. If you are talking about Wu Jinren and Tai Zhenjun, I advise you not to waste your efforts. This places the Abyss Demon realm under our demon section. Although it is only a middle thousand world 800 billion miles away, it's also enough to block outside prying eyes. Without my permission, nothing that happens here can be spread. Yet. Su Junming's heart moved, and the creation spirit island slowly flew out. At the same time, a little starlight quickly enlarged. Soon, a handsome middle-aged man wearing a scarlet robe, with a bald head, appeared in front of everyone. When he saw this person, Qi Ling's expression changed drastically. The spiritual pressure on the opponent's body was so powerful that it had reached the peak of Deluo True Immortal. His cultivation level is definitely above him. No longer hesitating at the moment, he quickly borrowed the power of the Abyss Demon realm. Although he was not the master of the demon world and could only use part of the world's power, after all, the Abyss Demon realm was also a top-notch middle thousand world with powerful world power. Great magic power. The treasure mirror above the head shone brightly, and the light of the seven saints was dozens of times stronger than before. The mighty spiritual light caused the black hole to shake instantly, as if it was about to collapse at any time. Su Junming quickly activated all his magic power. Fortunately, the bronze mirror is an important treasure that connects his life and soul, and the mana consumed to activate it is much less than that of ordinary spiritual treasures. Only then could I barely support it. After barely stabilizing the situation, he didn't dare to neglect, and quickly took out a yellow gourd from the storage gourd, removed the seal on it, and flicked it with his fingers. A drop of soybean-sized white liquid with a strong sense of creation and Taoism melted into Chen Xuanzang's body like lightning. Chen Xianzang, who had already reached the peak of the great Luo celestial immortal before entering seclusion, had absorbed the innate spiritual energy of Taishu in the creation spirit island for such a long time, and had completely accumulated enough foundation to overcome the tribulation. Now that he had received this drop of the fundamental chi of Taishu's innate creation, his magic power increased instantly. He, who had been wandering outside the door, instantly crossed the threshold. In an instant, billowing calamity energy flew over. Infinite black clouds gathered together, and the depressing atmosphere made the monks around them feel like they had exploded and flew away in a hurry. If you don't run away at this time, you will be enveloped by the heavenly tribulation, and the end result will be that you will be killed by the thunder tribulation. It's about life, who doesn't care? Su Junming struggled to support the bronze mirror to resist the light of the seven saints. Although his breath became weaker and weaker, his face was full of smiles. Staring at the ugly-looking Qi Lingzi in the distance, his eyes were full of sarcasm. You should be like a dog running away with your tail between your legs now. Qi Lingzi was instantly furious, but looking at Ji Yun, who was becoming more and more coercive, he knew that now was not the time to show off his strength. Once targeted by the heavenly tribulation, with his current level of cultivation, he would not be able to escape being killed. He glared hard at him. Don't think you are sure to win, this is the Abyss Demon realm. After saying that, his body turned into light and flew away into the distance like lightning. The heavenly tribulation of Deluo Celestial Immortal and the Advanced True Immortal spans nearly 10,000 miles. Within this range, everyone will be killed by the heavenly tribulation. Seeing him leave, Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief and quickly took back the bronze mirror. Using the body of the ethereal golden immortal to activate the spiritual treasure consumes too much mana. Master, how are you? I'm fine. Shaked his head. Hurry up, otherwise we will be enveloped by the heavenly calamity of your sixth martial uncle, and we will die here too. He grabbed Sun Shi and flew into the Hunyuan divine gate, flying into the distance like lightning. Seeing the slow-flying monks, Su Junming urged the divine gate and quickly brought them in. Otherwise, with the speed of these people, they would not be able to escape at all. The anxious Qi refining realm and Yuan Yang realm monks quickly flew over. Actively asked to be accepted into the divine gate. The monks in the Tai realm have extremely high cultivation and extremely fast escape speed, so they can escape, but they don't need his help. At the critical moment of life and death, Su Junming did not care about these people's previous suspicions. After escaping thousands of miles away, most of the tens of thousands of monks heard this time were admitted to the Hunyuan divine section. There are only less than 50,000 left exposed. Most of these 50,000 monks are Tai realm monks and their disciples. At this moment, the calamity clouds in the sky also continued to the extreme. There was a boom. The entire abyss demon realm was shrouded in a lavender divine light. The mighty big cave thunder, like a giant knife in the hand of the god, instantly penetrated the heaven and the earth. The powerful thunder, even though it is thousands of miles away, can still clearly sense its overbearing power that destroys the world. Looking at the thunder that was hundreds of feet in diameter, everyone felt deeply lucky. If they had hesitated just a moment ago, they would have died in the thunder now. You must know that this is the great cave divine thunder that only the Daludo realm faces. Its power is hundreds of times that of the Tai divine thunder. A small amount of it can be enough to seriously injure a Tai realm monk.